Donna, where are you? And what is the meaning of this?
Oh, hello, Judy. I was expecting your call. I guess you found a package that I left for you. What seems to be the problem? Did you see my note?
You really don't think there's any problem with what you've done? You left your child at my front door without saying anything. Rover is not just a package. Do you not have any common sense? Did you forget that he's just a preschooler?
Stop calling me because I can't pick up right now. I'm on a packed subway, so I don't want to bother the other passengers.
Then come back and get your son, now.
What? Who do you think you are, telling me what to do?
You can't just leave your son at my doorstep, with nothing but a note asking me to watch him for a while. I didn't even realize anyone was out there for at least 30 minutes. He could have been kidnapped by a stranger in that time. What were you thinking?
Well, what I supposed to do? I had no other choice since there was no one else who could watch my son on such short notice. And I just couldn't bring him with me this time.
What do you mean? Where are you going?
I couldn't ask my husband to watch him, because that's just out of the questions. And both my parents and in-laws live too far away, they wouldn't be able to get here in time.
Wait, but didn't you mention that your husband was in the hospital recently? Is he doing better now?
Oh no. He's still hospitalized and I have no idea when he's going to be discharged. That's why I had to leave my son with you. You're the only person I can rely on right now. We're both a mother to young children, so we have to help each other out in times of need. And I just really need your help this time. Besides, I would do the same for you if we were in opposite situations. I'm just asking you to babysit him for a few days. Is that too much to ask?
Of course, I'm more than happy to help, but this goes way beyond babysitting. And still, you can't just leave your son on my doorstep without letting me know beforehand. You didn't even have the courtesy to ask if we were even available. What if we were planning to go out tonight?
Oh, so what are you saying? Are you just going to kick my poor baby out of your house and make him stay on your doorstep until you get back?
What?
He's only 5. Are you really going to force a 5-year-old to stay outside all night? Is he supposed to sleep on your front lawn or something? That's just cruel.
That's not what I'm saying. Of course I'm going to take him in. I'm just saying that it's common courtesy to ask beforehand, because it's a big responsibility to take in someone's child. But first of all, this is your problem, so I'd appreciate it if you didn't involve me and my family in the first place. Why is it so important for you to go on this vacation anyways, especially now, when your husband is in the hospital? Don't you even care about his well-being?
What are you saying? So I can't even take a vacation? What about my well-being? I need to take a break once in a while too.
No. All I'm saying is that you need to get your priorities straight. Any reasonable person should know that this isn't the best time to be taking a vacation for themselves. It just seems a bit selfish because your family needs you right now. Don't you have any common sense?
Oh, be quiet. You have no right to be sticking your nose into our private business. All you need to do is to watch Rover for a few days. Is that too much to ask for?
This is ridiculous. You didn't even ask if it would be okay to leave your son with me. You just dropped him off in front of our door. The poor boy, he must have been so scared.
I'm sure he was fine. Oh, and one more thing. Since you're already watching Rover while I'm away, why don't you also take care of my husband as well? You know, visiting him in the hospital so he doesn't get lonely, and making sure he doesn't need anything? He has a really big sweet tooth, but there's hardly enough of a selection in the hospital cafeteria. Maybe you can bring him some donuts and cookies from time to time. It shouldn't be too hard.
You're kidding, right?
And Rover knows which hospital his father is staying at, so you can just ask him.
No, this is absolutely ridiculous. I can't possibly agree to take on that task. I've never even met your husband.
Don't worry, I'm sure it'll be fine. I really appreciate it. Thanks. Bye.
Wait. Donna. Donna, you can't do this. Donna? I had a bit of a panic the other day and forgot to ask you something important. When will you be back from your trip? You just needed like a day or two to refresh your mind, right?
Oh, I forgot to mention when I'm coming back. My apologies. But I'll be home in about 2 weeks or so.
2 weeks? Isn't that a long time to be away from your son and husband? I thought you would be back by now.
Oh no. Don't be silly. That's much too soon. I'm in Australia right now. A few days is nowhere near enough time to take in all the sights.
Australia? You're overseas?
Yup. Didn't I tell you that I was traveling abroad? So you see? That's why I won't be home yet.
Are you serious? Not only is your husband in the hospital right now, but you left your 5-year-old son here with me. I'm not even a relative of yours. You can't just hand him off to me like this. I think I asked you this before, but is this trip really that important? Did you even consider how it's affecting your family? And you're not coming back for another 2 weeks. Please, tell me this is all just a joke.
It's not a joke. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm really in Australia right now.
Why would you even plan such a long trip at this timing in the first place? If I'm not mistaken, you said that your husband has been hospitalized since last month, right? You could have canceled or at least postponed this trip for a better time. There must have been enough time for you to make alternate arrangements. Why didn't you consider those options?
What? No way. It didn't even cross my mind to cancel or postpone this trip. My travel companion was finally able to get some time off. There was just no way I was going to miss this opportunity. And I couldn't possibly reschedule this trip for personal reasons of mine. He's very busy, you know? Who knows when the next time he'll be able to take such a long break from work will be.
Wait. I thought you were taking this vacation alone. But you're with another man? And it's just the two of you?
Oh, it's not a big deal. He's just a friend from high school. We had our high school reunion earlier this year, and we just hit it off then. We weren't exactly that close back then, but it turns out we have a lot in common, like our love for traveling. So we had been talking about traveling abroad together for months, and we finally made it happen. I've been looking forward to this trip all year.
But if he's your friend, don't you think that he would understand the situation that you're in right now? Did you even talk to him about it? And I'm sure it can't be such a good feeling for you either, leaving your son and husband behind like this. Especially since your husband is in the hospital. You must be sick with worry and feeling really guilty.
Not at all. I'm having a really great time, actually.
What?
Oh, look, my friend is calling for me, so I'm gonna go now. Talk to you later.
Wait. Donna, we're not finished with this conversation yet.
Judy, thank you so much for stopping by earlier. This is Gary, Donna's husband.
Oh, hello. I appreciate you letting me in and taking the time to talk to me as well. I want to apologize for my unannounced visit to the hospital. I also want to express my regret for sharing some difficult information with you. I realize it wasn't an ideal situation, especially since we had just met in a hospital setting.
No need to apologize. I appreciate your visit. I had been wondering why Donna hasn't been here for the past few days, but now I understand. However, I never expected her to be overseas while leaving our son with you. I'm sorry that this situation has inconvenienced you and your family. As I mentioned when you were here, I've already contacted my parents. They're on their way and should arrive tomorrow morning. I'm sorry to impose, but I would really appreciate it if you could look after Rover until then. They promised to pick him up as soon as they can.
Of course, that's not a problem. Please take care.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello, Judy. How is my baby boy doing? And guess what? I'm still in Australia. I was supposed to leave today, but I changed my mind.
What? You changed your mind?
Yup. There's just so much to do here, so I'm going to stay here for a while longer. Australia is such a great country, I can't possibly go home without seeing and experiencing everything. So, do me a favor and take care of my son and husband for a few more days, okay? This is so great. It'll give me more time to go play with baby koalas today. Did you know that there's a cafe where you can actually hug them? I'm just so excited.
Donna, there's something you need to know.
What is it? Didn't I tell you that I have a busy day today?
It's your husband. He passed away just this morning.
What?
The hospital said that his condition took a sudden turn for the worse in the middle of the night. And unfortunately, he was unable to recover, even though the doctors did everything they could. He died this morning. Right now, his parents are taking care of all the paperwork and handling the funeral arrangements.
What? I don't understand. This is just a joke, right? How am I supposed to react to that? This isn't funny, you know.
Oh, Donna, you have no idea how much I wish it were just a joke.
What? No. Tell me you're just lying. You're just trying to get back at me because I left my son with you for so long, right? You want to make me feel bad about what I did, right?
Donna, this is nothing to joke about. Your husband's parents came to pick up Rover right away, so he hasn't been staying with me since we last spoke.
What? You contacted my in-laws?
Well, Gary was the one who called them as soon as I told him what was going on. His parents arrived the following morning and picked up your son. They've been taking care of your husband since then as well. Until this morning, that is.
What? This can't be happening.
And there's also something else. There's no point hiding the fact that you're having an affair anymore. We all know the truth.
What?
As a matter of fact, aren't you on vacation with your lover right now?
But, how do you know that?
Gary told us everything. By the way, it seemed like your husband was long aware of your infidelity. So if it weren't for his sudden hospitalization, he was planning to hire a lawyer to start the divorce proceedings.
Are you serious?
If you don't believe me, why don't you call his parents and ask them directly? I'm sure they will be more than happy to give you a piece of their mind.
My in-laws?
Yes, your husband apparently revealed everything to them, so they know exactly what's been going on. They can tell you more than I'll ever be able to.
No way. I don't want to talk to them.
Huh? Why not? Don't you want to know more about everything that happened?
Well, yeah, but I know that they'll just lecture me about what a bad wife and mother I am. They never liked me much anyways. And if that's the case, I'd much rather enjoy the rest of my vacation before heading home. I think I'll wait to face my in-laws until they start discussing Gary's inheritance.
Are you insane? You're not even going to come back for your husband's funeral?
I guess not. I mean, it's not going to change the fact that he's gone. So what difference does it make? And even if I do go back, I'm only going to be insulted for my failures anyways. Don't get me wrong. I'm absolutely devastated by this news. Maybe I just don't want to leave yet because that means I'll have to accept the reality of this situation. I honestly didn't expect my husband to pass away while I was away, but nothing I do now is going to bring him back. The only thing I can do is to move on and continue living my life as a widow now.
Just so you know, I'm with your husband's parents right now.
What do you mean?
I was already involved in all this from the moment you decided to leave Rover with me, so it just felt like my obligation to help out with the funeral arrangements. We're actually at the funeral home together right now, when you just so happened to message me with your ridiculous excuses. And I'm sure that you can imagine, but I immediately showed all of your replies to them.
What? How dare you? Why would you do such a thing?
They were absolutely furious with you at first, but they said that it wasn't completely unexpected coming from you. And in fact, there are a few things they wanted me to convey to you.
Like what?
Well, first of all, your divorce was already finalized before your husband passed away.
What? How is that even possible?
Isn't it true that you had a set of divorce papers in your nightstand drawer, already filled out and signed with your name?
Well. Wait, don't tell me.
I don't know all the details of how they discovered those papers, but it seems your assumption is correct. Your husband just had to fill in his information, sign his name, and submit it to court. So, I'm sure you can guess what I'm about to say next. You no longer have any rights to your late husband's inheritance.
You're kidding, right?
And they're currently in the process, but your in-laws are planning to take custody of Rover.
What?
They're even considering legally adopting him.
What do you mean by that? I'm his mother. There's no way I'll let my son be adopted by his grandparents. I'm more than capable of taking care of him myself. Do you honestly think that's even possible?
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm quite certain it will be approved.
What?
Don't you understand the gravity of your actions? Think about it for a moment. First, you disregarded the fact that your husband had been in the hospital for over a month, just so you could go on an overseas rendezvous with your lover. And not only that, you left your 5-year-old son on my doorstep with no plans to return for more than 2 weeks. In my opinion, that's no different from neglect, which is a serious concern. There's simply no way you're fit to raise a child. Besides, who knows when you might abandon Rover again for another selfish reason. I'm sure your in-laws felt the same way, and that's why they offered to raise your son in your place. It's the best solution for everyone involved.
But what about my son? What does he say about all of this? He's a big mama's boy. There's no one in this world that he loves more than his mommy. There's no way he'll want to be separated from me.
I wouldn't be so sure. He clearly stated that he doesn't want to live with a mommy who doesn't take care of his daddy.
No way. But he's never said anything like that.
Those were his words, not mine. And unlike you, he's very concerned about his sick father as well. He's still young, but he's quite observant. You can't hide your actions from him. Maybe your lies worked on someone else, but not with your own family. Anyway, you completely betrayed his trust this time, and he must be heartbroken. And it may be hard to believe, but even young children are very aware of what's happening around them, especially when it concerns the people who are supposed to love them unconditionally. To be honest, I'm not even surprised by Rover's reaction. It's what you deserve.
I can't believe this. So, what am I supposed to do now?
Oh, and there's one last thing.
What? There's more? Haven't you already given me enough bad news? My life is already in shambles.
Well, the deed for your family home is now in your father-in-law's name, so it no longer belongs to you. Actually, he's decided to put the house up for sale next month. The house needs to be cleared out as soon as possible, so all your belongings were packed up and sent to your parents' house the other day. They want to get contractors in right away for renovations.
What? You went through my stuff without my permission. And you sent everything to my parents' house. How will they react to all of this? Why would you do such a terrible thing?
Terrible. Do you even know what you're talking about? You're the last person who should be using that word, unless you're talking about your own actions.
But it's not fair.
Maybe you should know that when I first visited your husband in the hospital, he was unbelievably polite towards me. It was the first time we had met, but he was really grateful for everything I was doing for his family. He kept thanking me for visiting him, for taking care of his son, and for getting along with his parents. I thought he was just a very conscientious person, but I guess there was a deeper meaning to his words. It's too late now, but I think I understand what he was trying to say.
Well, what do you want me to do about it now?
Why don't you come back home as soon as you can? There's nothing you can do if you're not even in the country. And when you return, maybe you'll finally realize the truth about your actions. The things you've said and done were cruel and unacceptable. But it's too late to change the facts now. I hope you spend the rest of your life in regret, for all I care. Donna swiftly booked the next available flight back home and returned to the country the following day. Exiting the airport, she hurried to her parents' house, though it proved too late. Her parents had already learned of everything that transpired and refused to welcome her back as their daughter. They were utterly repulsed by her actions, ultimately severing all ties with her. Consequently, Donna's in-laws were granted official custody of Rover, who would now be raised by his grandparents. In return for waiving any monetary claims for damages, Donna's in-laws extracted a solemn promise from her to stay away from her son's life henceforth. Donna ended her relationship with her lover, only to discover he was already married during their affair. Subsequently, Donna was required to pay his wife a substantial settlement for damages. Her selfishness led Donna to lose her family, her home, and everything else dear to her. With numerous debts still looming, she had no option but to endure a desolate, purposeless existence. Each day was marred by remorse, yet she had no one left to offer solace or comfort.